Baby, it's cold outside, and I cannot think of any better way to warm your soul, to just comfort you, than a big bowl of this chicken noodle soup with a little dry sherry infused in there. All right, let's get over on the stove and get this going so we can get on into that bowl and get to eating, okay? I'll meet you over there on the stove, okay? Okay, we're going to get our chicken soup started by putting our meat, our chicken, into our boiling water. I have 4 cups of water in this pot here, and I'm using a 4.5. You need at least a 4.5 quart pot there for your ingredients. So these chicken drumsticks here, I've already skinned them. You can use drumsticks or you can use thighs. You're going to need about 2 pounds of that. So I got this in my water here, my 4 cups of water. Now what I'm going to add to this is celery leaves. Now this is pretty much, you know, what your celery looks like when you get it. And some people throw these leaves away, but there's a whole lot of flavor and taste in these leaves. And that's one of the best ingredients that you can use in getting together your chicken soup. So I have a 1/2 cup of celery leaves that I'm pouring in there with that chicken. And now I'm going to add some parsley flakes, just little parsley flakes here. And I'm using 2 tablespoons of that. Now if you have fresh parsley and you want to chop that up, by all means do that. But I don't use parsley enough to substantiate me keeping it fresh. It will go bad before I use it all up, and I don't like to waste ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 bay leaf over in there. Okay, and now what I have is some dried thyme that I'm putting in there. I'm using 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, and now I need to put in there I think I'm using a teaspoon. Yeah, I need a teaspoon of salt here. Yeah, just to salt, get it down in there. I'm gonna put a little extra in there just for good measure. Okay, and I need about a fourth teaspoon of pepper, just black pepper there. Now this, I'm gonna give it a little stir, and I'm gonna put my eye down just a little bit, so I'm about there on medium, and I'm gonna let this let this cook for 30 minutes, and then we'll be back to add our next ingredients there. So now, while our chicken is cooking over there, you might want to go ahead and get your prep work done, or you can do the prep work prior to starting this particular dish. You're gonna need 1.5 cups of onions. Okay, so I've already diced mine up there. Ooh, got a little piece in there. Okay, and then you're gonna need a cup of sliced celery. So slice them like this. And I started out dicing them, not even thinking about, you know, what I was doing there, and then I quickly caught myself and sliced up the rest of it. Okay, now you're also gonna need 2 cups of carrots. I'm choosing to use frozen carrots, but by all means you can use fresh carrots if you want to, and you'll just take them and slice them up until you have 2 cups, and you would want to go ahead and put those into your chicken about 10 minutes into it cooking, so that they can have time to cook down and get soft in there. But I'm using the frozen ones, so I'll put those in at the same time as I do the rest of my vegetables. So go ahead and get this ready while your chicken is cooking. So when that chicken finished, so after 30 minutes when we remove the chicken, we'll be ready to put our vegetables in there, okay? And don't worry, I'll put this recipe in the description box. I know I don't do that all the time, but I would do it this time because this is a recipe that I definitely want you all to be able to get together during these cold winter days here, all right? Okay, now our chicken has been cooking for 30 minutes there, and that's what we're looking like right at this moment. Now we're ready to add our vegetables to the pot. And so here goes our 1.5 cups of diced onions there. All right. Now we're going to add these sliced celery here. That's a cup, remember. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and put the carrots in there at this point too. And if you're using frozen, that was a 12 ounce bag of a 12 ounce bag of frozen carrots there that I'm using. But if you're using them fresh, remember, that's your option, but just use 2 cups of them, okay? All right, so there we're gonna let this go another 30 minutes here. All right. Okay, so now our task is to turn the eye off, and we've got to remove our chicken from the pot here so we can let it cool, and we're going to get ready to debone it. So we're going to take all 4 pieces out. Try to leave your vegetables in there. Okay? 1. Yeah, ready? And there we are. 2. And it's very tender. There's no pink on this chicken anywhere. Okay? You can see it's practically coming off the bone right now. But we need to let this cool just a little bit so we can handle it with our hands. And so we're just going to let the vegetables stay there and with the eye off until we have our chicken deboned, and then we'll go on with our next step. Okay? Okay, so my chicken is cool enough for me to handle it. So what you see me doing is just pulling it off the bones, and I'm making sure that all that gristle and whatnot is not in there. And don't forget this little bone that tends to be in there also, okay? So we're gonna take the chicken and we're just putting it over here on this plate. And we'll just continue to do this until we have all of the chicken removed from the bones. We finished taking all the meat off those bones, so we want to just discard that, and we're going to take our chicken here, and I'm just use my little paring knife, and we just want to cut this into smaller pieces there. Just go through and get all of those large chunks out of there and cut them down. Okay, so we finished cutting up our chicken into smaller pieces like so, okay? And I've turned on the eye under my vegetables, and what we want to do now is get that open, okay? And what I want to do with these vegetables is I'm now going to add 3 cups of white noodles. Let me show you the ones that I'm using here. Okay, so I'm using these wide noodles. They're extra broad noodles. Hope you can see that well. And I'm using 3 cups of these and adding that to just the vegetable and the chicken broth there. All right. And I'm going to stir this down, get this down in there a little bit. And this is going to cook. We're going to let this go for 5 minutes before we add anything else to this. Okay, so now we're ready to add our next ingredients. We'll stir this up a little bit. All right, looking good, smelling good, and all of that. Look at those big pretty carrots in there. This is gonna make somebody feel real good. You got somebody sick and you need to make them a little chicken soup. This is what you want to take them. All right, so now we're gonna add in here 1 cup of peas. And let me show you what I'm using. Yeah, I know some of y'all, I don't eat peas. You know this is soup. Whatever you don't eat, don't put in, but put in what you do eat. Okay, so these are the sweet peas that I'm using, frozen sweet peas. Okay, so I'm gonna put a cup of those in there. Love me some sweet green peas here. sweet. Okay, there we go. Got those in there. And then this right here is 1.5 cups of milk. The milk that you drink in your cereal. And in my case, I drink almond milk. So I'm going to put that in there. All right. Okay. Let that go just a second there. Put that down. Okay, so what you see me doing here is putting in 2 tablespoons of just some this enriched all-purpose flour. What am I saying? All-purpose flour. In this little jar, I have 1/2 cup of milk. So altogether, you're going to be using 2 cups of milk. You put 1.5 into the pot already. So this is the other half of that cup of milk to make it 2. So I have that half in here, and I've added 2 tablespoons of just some flour, just some all-purpose flour. I'm gonna put a little top on this jar, and I'm gonna shake this up, right? Shake it up really, really well. And we're just gonna go ahead and pour it over into the pot. Okay. I want to bring this temperature all the way up. I want to stir this in a little bit. And what you're going to see, you know, that flour and milk mixture is basically your thickener here. And I need to get this bay leaf out of here. Before I forget, I should have taken that bay leaf out at the point where we were putting the noodles in. So don't forget to remove that 1 bay leaf that you have in there. And if you choose to put 2, make sure you always counting your bay leaves so you can take out what you put in. Okay? Now we're gonna let this go a little bit until it starts to boil before we add our final ingredients here. Okay, y'all. Our pot is back up to boil settings, very hot. Back up to heated through. That's what I'm trying to say. It's heated through right now. So what we want to do, everything in here is cooked, so you don't want to overcook your noodles. So here's our chicken that we've already cut up over here, and I felt through to make sure there aren't any gristles in there, because we don't want to, you know, take this chicken soup to one of our friends and they choke, you know, on a bone or something in there. We want to make sure that we've gotten all those little bones and gristles and whatnot out, or when we serve it to our little kids or husband or anybody, we don't want them choking on no gristles. So there, we've added the chicken back to the pot, and look at that. And I want to now just add a 1/2 cup of little sherry. Let me show you the sherry. I'm going to use just a little bit of dry sherry right here, okay? And I'm just going to put a 1/2 cup of that in there. And stir it around. Y'all know they look good, honey. Not only is it a look, but this is one of the best chicken soups. And I'm not saying that just because I prepared it. It just is what it is. So, yeah, that's the chicken soup. It's heated through. You know, anytime you add any ingredient into the pot, it's going to cool a little bit. So it's coming up to temperature pretty quickly. But we don't want to overcook noodles, and the chicken is already cooked. So basically, we just letting it warm through. And what I'm really going to do is go on and turn this off. And you know, these cast iron pots, they hold heat really well. So basically, I'm just going to put that top. I just want to make sure I got it stirred up really well where everything is mixed in well, you know. And then I'm going to go ahead and just close this top and let everything come together and become real good friends. And then we'll be ready to eat. I got chicken all over my hand, y'all. Okay. Okay, y'all. So we got our chicken soup done, and Lord, in record time, because it is a little chilly out there. Today I live in Houston, and anytime the temperature drops below 40, it's freezing to us down here. But anyway, even if it's cold where you are, this is the perfect soup for you. And it's perfect for me too. And that's why I'm gonna go on and get into eating it. And I wanna say to y'all, if you have a friend that's feeling a little under the weather, or you have a child that's not feeling well, this is the perfect soup for them, honey. Yes. So let me go on and get into eating me some of it right now, because I just can't wait, y'all. Honey, your friend or whomever, they'll be so glad that you cook this for them, even your family, honey. And I tell you, this soup will feed about 6 people, well, 4 if they greedy like me. But anyway, let me get one more taste.